Hello everybody, welcome to Roundtable Special Series Railway Trippin Tibetan Style. I'm Heyang, here with me is Laiming.
Hi.
And Huang Shan.
Hello.
And if you hear a little noise in the background, that is because we have a waterfall not that far away from us, like 10 meters or so from us, behind the camera.
That's about 50.
Okay.
Sorry for correcting you, but...
Yeah, you're always correct.
We're sitting next to a river.
Yeah, and this is a beautiful place. We are in Lulung town in Nyingchi. Last time we chatted, it was in Lhasa when we did the show. So now we've traveled from, let's take a look at the map. So from Lhasa, the capital of Tibet Autonomous Region, to the east. To Nyingchi. And then further out as we take the car for about 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
2 hours. And we're now in Lulung. And this is a beautiful little town.
Yeah.
So guys, what do you see? Describe to our listeners and audiences who can't see the full picture.
We are situated in the back garden of a hotel. And all around us, I see flowers, red, pink, and white. I think they're called Gesang-hua.
Yeah.
Gesang flowers, if that's a literal translation. So very, very ubiquitous flower here in Tibet.
Yeah.
And again, we are further out. We are surrounded by, well, there's a river, we just mentioned earlier, a waterfall. And then further away, there are mountains, and more mountains.
I can see the sea of dragon spruce, and I love the trees. And if you look into distance, you can see layers of a dragon spruce. And sometimes we say Tibet is like a natural museum of plants, and it hosts a number of the genes of numerous plants. So I think just by looking at the surrounding, I can feel that it's like a showcase of the Asian plant life.
Right.
Yeah.
So many flowers and trees. And it's
important to point out to everybody because of the altitude of this place, and it gives reason to why we see these kind of plants and flowers here. And also we are at altitude of 3,300 meters above sea level.
Slightly lower than Lhasa.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we still feel the high altitude sickness when we move stuff around.
Yeah, and also it gives this place such a beautiful vibe and something very special about Nyingchi and Lulung here because of the altitude, and therefore you see that the trees are all growing more vertically than otherwise. And also the higher the altitude, like you see trees like fir, like what Huang Shan kind of mentioned, and then when you go down a little bit, then you see pine, and then different kinds of trees, and the mountains that's hugging us. That is truly beautiful. What a serene feel, but also surrounded in nature. This is not what we're used to doing the Roundtable show. So we took this train.
Lhasa to Nyingchi railway.
Exactly, and this is a new railway.
Xining to Lhasa, and it was 1,956 kilometers. And we passed through the no man's land, and the natural environment, Sanjiangyuan Natural Reserve, which is a national park. So we mostly moved through vast terrain. Very vast terrain. In comparison, here the journey from Lhasa to Xining, it was shorter, 400 something kilometers, but it still took us about 4 hours.
And that was from Lhasa to Nyingchi. Nyingchi.
And we went through a lot of mountains and tunnels. If my memory still serves, there must have been 47 tunnels and bridges. So 90% of that railway was tunnels and bridges. So you can imagine how difficult it was to complete the construction of this railway, which is very important. But it's well worth it. Over the way, we saw many locals getting on board the train and getting off every stop. And some of them may not be very familiar with the experience of traveling by the train, but
especially high-speed rail.
Yeah, but they seem to enjoy the ride, and naturally so, because this railway cut traffic time between locations along the line by almost 50%.
Wow.
So making it much easier for people to move around.
Yeah, and that means that tourists will have a chance to, or have an easier way to get into Nyingchi if they want to, and also to Lulungs, and also for the locals. This means that you could work here and, live in a different county if you want to. I don't know if many people do that, but in theory that is totally doable.
Right.
And also we came from Nyingchi to Lulungs, this little town, and you happen to discover something along the way that is very interesting.
Yeah, because we took a 2 hours drive from Nyingchi to Lulungs town, and we just got a chance to get off the bus at an outlook point for a mountain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that mountain is called Nangabawa. It's Nangabawa. And I just talked to a lady who works in here, and she told me there's a folklore concerning this special peak. Because when you visit Nyingchi, and Lulungs is a town that you can get the best chance to visit the highest peak in Nyingchi, and which is the Nangabawa. And according to the local folklore, he used to be one of the sons of the god, and also he has a brother, I don't know, older or younger brother, whose name is the Gala Perry, the Jiala Bailei. So these two peaks, they used to be brothers, and both are the sons of the god.
Wow.
But the Gala Perry, he's too diligent and he works so hard, and the Nangabawa was so jealous of him, and then just one day, out of his anger, and he did a very stupid thing, and he killed his brother and cut his head off, and that's the reason why...
So the mountain's lower.
Yeah, so that's the reason why when you have a chance to visit the Jiala Bailei, you could see the shape of the mountain is like a person's body, but without a head.
Wow.
And in terms of
a little gory, but
a little bit bloody
really
and brutal, right? And when you visit Nangabawa, and you cannot see the full view of this magnificent mountain. Why is that? Because he was so ashamed at killing his brother, so he wanted to hide himself in order to show his regret of doing something really bad in the past. But the reality is because the convection current, and especially during the summer, and the weather is full of the mist and cloud, and we cannot get a full view of the mountain. But if you really want to visit the town and get a full outlook of the peak, the best season is actually autumn and winter.
Okay, so we're here a bit early.
Yes.
I suppose. Very beautiful story. Very
beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful story. Reminds me of the stories of the gods of the Olympia. Yeah, Greek mythologies and.
Yeah, well, just us humans want to give reason, meaning to natural surroundings, and so many things that we can't really explain even fully to this extent, but it's really fascinating when you hear what local people give their special interpretation to this place that they live in and grow up with. So this is not something that you can search on the internet, but you have to chat with locals and
also
get these information.
The name of Lulungs town, and in the Tibetan language, it means a place will make you forget your home. That is how beautiful you are.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and people say after you visit this town, you will become the pilgrims of the natural landscape.
Yeah, we did see a lot of people along the way, the 2-hour bus ride, and there were people riding along the Highway 318.
Yeah.
And there were even people walking. So
there were people cycling too.
Yeah, cycling.
Yeah.
So it's a very important stop on the way from Sichuan to Nyingchi and to Lhasa. So therefore, people see fit to build a feature town here, so people can stay and enjoy the environment, and then be one with the nature.
And actually, this has become sort of a challenge or like a get off the bucket list thing for a lot of young people in this country who are really fit to, you know, at some point in their life, cycle to Lhasa. From Sichuan to Lhasa. And then I think we just saw some of those guys.
Right.
Yeah, and it's truly a very taxing journey on the thighs, on the whole physical health. But people say that it's a spiritual journey too, although, you know, some of us might not be Buddhist believers, but, you know, people take to their hearts that, you know, this is something that you really want to do, and then you find yourself along the way or something like that. So, I mean, I'm all for that stuff. And also, well, we are still in the vicinity of Nyingchi, right?
Yes.
And Linzhi.
Yeah,
This one. You've been looking forward to this particular stop of our trip from the beginning. So, what does Nyingchi used to sort of mean to you, and after actually visiting Nyingchi, does it feel any different now?
I think it beyond my expectation. It's even prettier and more beautiful than I have expected, and because I've evaded visiting the pristine beauty of Nyingchi for a very long time, and when I'm really here, I don't know, I think the words just failed me at a moment because it's so beautiful. Just look at the sky, the cloud, the trees, the flowers, the river, so clear. And also the river next to us, it contains like some environmental procedures, because in the past the river, along the river, it contains a lot of like mud and sand, and in this way it will definitely influence the quality of the river, and also some rotten branches and timbers sank into the river as well in order to clear the water and make the water more beautiful, and they have like rolled out some measures to clean up the water. So that's why we can see the water here is really clear and it's transparent like.
I couldn't help but stare.
Yeah.
Even though we're doing the show here.
Yeah.
The landscape here in Nyingchi is indeed entirely different from what we see in Lhasa.
Yeah.
This is my first time in Nyingchi. And I couldn't help.
Do you know what does Nyingchi mean, like in the Tibetan language?
I think I saw it somewhere, but I can't recall it right now.
Throne of Sun.
Throne of Sun.
Yeah, in Tibetan. And because it's famous for its stunning landscape and untouched wilderness. That's Nyingchi. And with the average altitude of 3,100 meters, so it is the lowest region in Tibet, and that's why we feel much better compared when what we felt like in Lhasa.
Yes, indeed, and also the landscaping is entirely different. In Lhasa, if you're traveling to the suburb, you feel like you are traveling somewhere in Inner Mongolia. There was a colleague of ours who was traveling with us, and she felt, apart from the high altitude, there's not a lot of difference from her hometown. But here, along the 2-hour bus ride, we couldn't help but notice we were moving up and down the mountains, a lot of zigzagging, and some people were saying, well, I'm becoming a little nauseated. There was a bucket in standby.
That was me. That was me.
And the good news is it was never used.
It was really difficult for me to keep it down, and you don't want to know what it is.
How do you feel now?
Yeah, I guess I am possibly out of us three the one that's a little bit weaker in getting climatized. So as you can see, if you're watching our video right now, Laiming's wearing a shirt. Huang Shan's wearing, so basically Laiming's wearing something like summertime or like maybe springtime, and Huang Shan's wearing spring autumn, but she's got this jacket on. And for me, I've got a hoodie inside and a
down jacket.
a really light down jacket on, and that keeps me like in perfect temperature right now. And this also maybe shows a little bit that when you're traveling in Tibet, it's most useful if you pack 4 seasons of clothing in your bag.
Right. Yes, indeed. I think I had some heavy stuff put away somewhere, and I think if I were to go out some day in the morning to see the scenery as the sun rises, I should definitely put on some down jacket.
And also, this is a little town that is outside of, this is still under the jurisdiction of Nyingchi.
Right.
So that'd be a bit further out from Lhasa, and Nyingchi is actually quite far from Lhasa for local people. And but if you're up for getting away, did you hear that breeze?
Yeah, I was just about to say. Wow.
Do you hear the breeze just blowing through the grasses in the meadow? I feel like I'm in a fairyland. This is really nice.
This is beautiful. Doing this show, we've been longing to go outside and do recording, but now we finally get it.
So mentally, you can feel the landscape and the beautiful view can heal your altitude sickness.
I hope so. I mean, that makes one of us, all right. So I certainly think that for those who live in cities and you want like a nice getaway place away from the hustle and bustle, this is it. And what do we hear? Was that a drone?
Maybe a drone or a wasp. Most likely a drone.
I can't tell. Was it a drone or a wasp? Yeah.
Or some endangered species of bird.
Okay.
Well, yes, this is a treasure chest of flora and fauna after all. So you wouldn't be surprised if you just see this, creature you've never seen before, and then or flower that you've not seen before, and it just appears here in Nyingchi or in Tibet altogether. Yeah, so with this little town, Lulungs, it was actually officially open in 2016.
Yeah.
So, do you know the backstory of the town?
Well, I think in the grand scheme of things, I think it was about the year 2016 when China started thinking about this plan of developing feature towns across the country. And initially there was a plan to develop about 1,000 feature towns throughout China. And here, Lulungs, is that true again?
Yes.
Okay. Go away! Anyway, here Lulungs is, like I said earlier, it's naturally endowed to develop into a feature town. On the one hand, there's the beautiful scenery that we keep talking about. On the other hand, it's a very important stop on the way from Sichuan to Lhasa to Tibet. So you got people coming in even before we had this town. And so there you go. The ground has been laid to build something out of it. And then in 2016, I think it was the Guangdong province. When we talk about Tibet, we talk about 原建项目. So these are assisted development projects where we see a lot of provinces and regions in other parts of China. They lend their help, and maybe in terms of financial support or in talent and in ideas. So back then, it was Guangdong province that really took part in carrying out this project. So it was a sort of a leveraging plan. The government would put out amount of money to try and attract more investment, and therefore we have several property development companies in Guangdong. They came in and they built several hotels here, and we are actually, like I said earlier, in the backyard of one of those hotels.
So this is a way, I think, for the provinces here in China to develop. It's like, well, in theory, it's actually quite simple and straightforward and makes sense. That is, let's say if you have a family. Yeah, we have a family.
I do have a family.
Okay, so if we're a family and there are two or 3 brothers, or maybe 4 brothers, all right? And then 2 seem to do pretty well for themselves, and 2 others, they're a little bit lagged behind. And then it's like, okay, those who are doing well, you help out your brothers. And then one by one, like joining hands. And then you come up with like very specific plans and, with thorough research, and then come up with this kind of project scheme and help each other out. So basically what we see here is that with this town, I mean, there's this very harmonious combination of old and new, and Tibet and just Tibet, really.
Tibet, the modern Tibet.
Yeah, because all the architectures here, they're in Tibetan style, and they have these white walls with very colorful beams and tiles and rooftops. And also I think they're mainly of wooden structure of the rooftops and fences and all that. And that's carefully designed to keep the local flavor. But you have, the Guangdong folks who are also behind the projects, and parts of the funding comes from Guangdong.
So you definitely get Wi-Fi when you're staying in those hotels.
And really nice bathrooms. If you walk into the hotels, and you can tell all the facilities are really modern, it's like give a modern touch of the traditional heritage. And when we walk around this town, I saw many Airbnbs and homestays. I think with the opening of the Lhasa Nyingchi railway, and it will definitely bring new success for the tourism development in this really beautiful town, because this town has crowned as one of the most beautiful towns in China by Chinese geography. And so I think it's amazing. And because when you just walk around this town, you can see the mixture of new and old, and then they preserve the culture and the architectural styles of the Tibetan culture very well in this town, because all the hotels, they still in their original shape, or they're trying to replicate the flavor or the vibe of the original taste. And when you just walk inside, it's just like all the other 5-star hotels, but they will also use the decors and also the accessories and decorations, and to show you where we are in Tibet.
Right. And if you're into fancy hotels and the extravagant stays, then these 3 hotels are definitely your choice. But if you are a young student and
we do a glamping
and you
here?
you want the authentic experience, maybe you're hiking, you're cycling here, and just outside of this neighborhood, and in fact the Lulungs town consists of several villages. In fact, later on we will go to one of those villages, and if you do get a chance to go there, you realize there are many villagers who set up homestay businesses, and that's where you're going to get the down-to-earth and most authentic experience, staying in the home of a local villager.
And that's the charm of homestays and hostels, right? When you get to chat to the locals and get the truly authentic tips like you don't get elsewhere of how to really explore the place. And there's one thing I just realized on Roundtable, the show, we've been talking about these featured towns and special themed towns for a few years, because we watch and give you the latest on what happens here in China. And this is our chance to actually be in one. So it's like, you've talked about this, had discussions about it on the show before, but now, on this reporting trip, actually we get
to be in one.
Be here and check things out and talk to the local people. That is always the best thing. And with these featured towns, really finding that key theme is very important. So for Lulungs, it seems like tourism is what they're going for.
Yeah.
And it would be great for more people to know that this is a hidden gem, you know? Like you've heard of, well, in China we know Jiangnan, you know, that's the southern
China.
Along the Yangtze River Delta.
Exactly. Got your geography point there. And since ancient history, that's been the one of the most prosperous places in China. And it has a lot to do with the pleasant weather and climate there. And here, you know, some people will refer it to, you know, the Jiangnan in Tibet. But actually the locals were contesting about it. They were like, we don't want to be the second of anything. We are who we are. And we want to make our name on the map.
We're not little Switzerland. We're not little Jiangnan.
Yeah.
We are Lulungs.
Yeah, and that's really cool. And guys, I would just love to have a cup of tea and chat with you guys.
Let's have a high tea together on this round table, square table.
You know who's got the high flares, and you know who's got the hardcore, solid research, that's Laiming. And also, today we've had so much fun talking with you guys and just being in the arms of Mother Nature, feeling the breezes on our faces and the sun shining, beaming off my nose. And I think that is probably the time to bid you a temporary farewell, as we will be back very soon on Roundtable. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Roundtable. I'm Heyang, and
I'm
here's Laiming. And we are still in Lulungs, which is in Nyingchi. It's still in Tibet, and we are in a highland ranch. When you are on a ranch, there's one thing you cannot not do. That is horse riding. And Laiming, you've done this before.
Yeah, only once.
Only once? But you look like a pro. I've checked the videos.
I'm actually trembling here.
Actually, I'm more nervous because this is...
Your first time?
Yes. And I've reserved it all my life so that I can ride the horse for the very first time in my lifetime on Roundtable.
Amazing, huh?
I am a little nervous.
This is a first.
Okay, so do you have any tips for me?
Hold on tight to the saddle while you try to get up there.
Okay.
And then hold on tight to the saddle while you're on top of it.
Okay. And that's all?
Yeah.
Okay, you've been super helpful, my friend.
Yeah, very helpful.
All right, so we each have a horse next to us, and let's try to get on.
Yeah.
And do I get sort of... I need a little bit of help here.
You simply put your left foot here.
Yes.
And put your right hand on the saddle.
On the back of the
and
saddle.
lift yourself on top.
All right, okay, and I have a very nice local herdsman.
Yeah, helping you out.
Yes, and he's so kind to help me out here.
Stay out of the way.
Okay, everybody stay clear. This is going to be really messy. I don't know what's going to happen. Everybody just get out of like 1 mile radius because I'm really scared right now. And this is happening, okay?
You can do it.
Okay, so... Okay, yeah, I'm doing this now. Okay.
Use your right hand. Pull yourself up.
Okay, Laiming, pray for me. I'm doing this.
Okay, I am.
Okay. 然后您也帮我一下哈。Thanks for the help. Okay, 3.
Okay, 3. Okay, 3.
Count down, all right, thanks, Laiming.
3.
Okay,
2.
3, 2. Don't mess up with my pace. 3, 2, 1.
Yay!
Okay, I am on the horseback.
You're
I
on
am on
horseback.
the horseback for the very first time in my
Okay.
lifetime.
I'm just gonna quietly get on top. Hey!
Gosh, Laiming,
Yeah.
so calm.
Thank you.
What a contrast.
Go ahead.
You made me look really, weedy.
Not bad for your first try though.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
So we are still in Lulungs, as you said earlier.
Whoa, oh, okay, and we're on the horsebacks,
Okay.
both of us.
Okay,
and
let's hit the gas.
yeah, okay. Oh,
Wow.
my horse
We're
is
actually
white,
moving.
and I think he. 请问这是女孩还是男孩? Oh, so I'm on
is a boy.
he. Yeah.
It's a.
He's very sweet. He's very kind to me
Yeah.
so far.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing there,
I'm
Laiming?
doing okay, although secretly very nervous.
I can never tell when you're nervous.
Well, okay.
You're doing really well, my
This is
friend.
me looking very nervous.
All right. Well, I've never imagined that I'd be here, in the meadow in Tibet, in Nyingchi, and I'm on the horseback.
Yeah. This is one of the tourist attractions at Lulungs.
Yeah, and
Feature town.
I think we've just ascended maybe 50 centimeters.
50?
But it feels like, an earthquake up here.
Yeah. Just like on top of a mountain.
Yeah.
And would you look ahead? Look
Oh,
at the scenery.
look at that, Laiming.
Wow.
Such breathtaking view.
Yeah.
Lulungs is a beautiful little town, and we are in the middle of some mountains, I'd say, and there's countless trees of various shades of green, and the air is so fresh, and also I smell a whiff of horse,
Manure.
something like that. Yeah.
It's what you get coming to a pasture or a ranch.
Yeah, this is beautiful. So far, so good, it feels. Actually,
but aren't we forgetting something?
are we? Oh, yes, we are. Oh, how terrible am I? We are going to ride our horses and go meet our friend Huang Shan, all right? Okay, we'll see you at the other end of the meadow.
See ya.
See you soon.
Hello everyone, I'm Huang Shan. I'm doing my archery in a highland ranch in Lulungs town. So now I need to find my arrow. And the most important thing of doing archery is that you need to find the right bow for you. Now I feel like I'm Jennifer Lawrence in Hunger Game. Ugh, yeah. And for archery, the most important thing is your posture. You need to look as cool as possible. There we go.
Good job.
Whoa!
Good
well
job,
done. Hey, Huang Shan.
Hey.
Where have you guys been?
Well,
Laiming and I'm Heyang, by the way, we've been horseback riding, and it was
Yeah.
my first time, so...
I'm doing my archery alone.
Oh,
And
great.
we're here to join you. Actually, Laiming's going to learn from the master,
Ooh.
and he may.
So I heard you said that posture is really important.
It's very important. You need to look cool.
Look cool, huh?
Yeah. Wait.
All right.
So first,
First,
it's
stand upright.
stand upright and watch your footsteps.
Footsteps.
And you have to stand like this.
Oh,
Yeah, one leg in front. And let me try to adjust the arrow for you. And you need to make sure the bottom of the arrow and the top of the arrow are on a horizontal line.
okay.
So in this way, you need to readjust it and trying to put this here.
All right. There you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there's a groove at the bottom of the arrow.
Okay.
So in this way,
So how do I do
yes.
this?
Now you need to aim
Point up.
going up and
Point up.
stretch.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's going astray.
It's very important to make sure the arrow stick to the string
Okay.
of the bow. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
And now
Pull
your
the
time
bow.
to shine. Off you go. Boom.
Uh-oh. Hey, at least I hit the, what is it?
Oh my God.
The cloth.
You were
Oh my
so
gosh.
close, actually. Well done.
Your performance is better than mine, honestly.
Oh, thank you,
I've been
Sensei.
practicing for half an hour
Okay.
for a good shoot.
Oh.
Well, when you've got a good teacher,
you know, the student actually performs in a superior way from time to time.
青出于蓝而胜于蓝。
There you go. You learned the Chinese
Do
too.
the translation here. Simultaneous interpretation.
Already did it.
No.
Already did it. So if you've been watching the show or listening to the show, then you know that we are in a highland ranch in Lulungs in Nyingchi in Tibet. So this is us doing some of the what the locals would be experts in, you know, like the horseback riding,
recreational activities.
Shooting arrows.
with a very long history. And
yeah, actually, you know what? Archery dates back over 10,000 years.
Humanity's earliest weapon.
Yeah, and when the bow and arrows, they were used for hunting and also warfare, for sure. And later it has evolved into a very competitive modern sport. And so archery made its Olympic debut in 1900.
1900.
Yeah, and then it reintroduced into the Olympic Games in 1908 and 1920. So after 52 years and gap, right, for sure, and it made a strong comeback in the Munich Olympics Games. Yeah.
You do know a lot about archery, Sensei.
Because it's pretty cool. Actually, I also do archery in Beijing, although my aiming is pretty bad, I would say.
Don't be so modest. As long as you look good, that's all that matters. Apparently, for this episode of Round Table. So when we're here, we're gonna do all these fun things as well as share with you a little bit of the cultural, the background, and other interesting knowledge about Tibet and this beautiful place in Nyingchi in the eastern part of Tibet. So we will be back very soon as we settle down and have a chat with you as we always do on Roundtable. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
This is Roundtable. I am Heyang, and here's Laiming and Huang Shan.
Hey.
Hey guys, we are now in a beautiful place. Yes, we're at a highland ranch in Lulungs in Nyingchi, and we are sitting in the middle of grass, a meadow. That's what I call it, and there are like a sea of flowers around us, and it is just utterly breathtaking view. And also, don't be surprised if we have some wild friends wandering into the camera. I hear a horse.
There's a horse right there.
And there's a horse right over there. So feel free to catch and spot these, friends that don't usually appear.
Handsome friends. They're so handsome, the horses.
Right.
Yeah, so how do you guys feel, for the first time sitting on a meadow and feeling the breeze against our faces, and also hearing the pine trees sing when the wind blows by? Wow. And also smelling that fragrance of nature. And we're doing a live recording here.
Yes. I feel is, well, obviously very special, and I hate to use the cliche word, but it's very special. And this is elevation more than 3,000 meters, and we are sitting here with a horse just about 10 meters away, eating grass quietly. And at one point, as we were preparing for the show, that horse wandered almost 5 meters away from us.
Yeah.
Very curious with the equipment and stuff that we are bringing with us. So and then underneath this.
Well, I know what you're going to talk about. Just go ahead. Yeah.
There's some coarse manure. We try very hard to avoid them as we set up the
French word? Is it a French word?
Manure.
Yeah.
What?
Everything sounds better when it's in French,
And
manure.
And when that stuff is all fresh, we try to avoid them.
Yes, of course.
But when they're dry, they can. I actually see one of our behind-the-scene team members who's actually using that as a little little case to
buttress to the phone.
Like holders,
yes,
right?
Yes. I mean, when you're out and about in the wild like this, you just have to improvise and utilize whatever is at hand, and that's kind of what we're doing here, in the sense that we're really taking in all this freshness, and you just don't usually get this kind of close contact in nature. And
you think you've seen everything. I mean, I traveled to
you
Guizhou.
feel that because I'm certainly not like that, but
I traveled to Guizhou. I traveled to Inner Mongolia and the Yellowstone. Something here is similar to the Yellowstone. If you drive from Billings to the Yellowstone National Park in the U.S., on our way here, as we zigzag across the mountains, I get a similar feeling. But again, even as we have traveled across the country and around the world, I still feel I haven't seen anything like this.
Yeah, in Tibet. And also, Laiming, usually you have my full attention when you're talking, but just now, not really, because I was listening to the horses.
I understand.
for a few moments. Yeah. So how do you feel, Huang Shan, being here?
Yeah, I feel it's amazing to go back to nature. It's like a self-healing process, and it makes you realize the true meaning in life, and that's the meaning of a journey, is self-exploration, and you know what is the most important thing in life and what you want to achieve in the future. And this is definitely like a paradise and a fairyland. I think next time I really want to bring my family here. Just take some time, calm down and just relax, don't do anything, and you can just empty your mind. Yeah, I think he wants to join our discussion.
Probably agreeing with Huang Shan.
Good job.
That's his way to say yes.
Yeah.
And earlier the horse was staring at us. I think he was very desperate for being on camera,
Yeah.
And just look around, I see some other tourists, and they're driving their own vehicles. This also shows a new trend of tourism, that is the road vehicles, right? And people can just just get on board of their own car and drive and enjoy the beautiful sceneries along the road. I just don't know what kinds of words I can use to describe this beautiful place. It's beyond your imagination, and just sitting here, I feel like it's amazing. And when we take photos, sometimes I have to admit that I like to add filters to make the photo look nicer and to gather more likes on social media.
But here, I don't think
you don't need any filters.
Yeah.
Hashtag no filter. Hashtag with makeup, for sure.
Well, you look no filter good, and that's what you should tell yourself.
Right.
Yeah, and when you look around, this is absolutely amazing, beautiful, and breathtaking, as I've said before, but when you think about it, this is really just true nature without the embellishment of humanity. And then this is what it's supposed to look like, and it looks great, and it actually touches you. It makes you, as a city dweller person, kind of be touched in a strange way. It's like maybe I'm just not that familiar with nature, and then being able to be surrounded with nature like this, it feels really great. And also this highland ranch, and also this Lulung town in general, is located within a national forest park.
Yes, which is why all around us we see the trees, firs, cypress, pines, maybe. I don't know them all. Yeah. Where I come from.
If you're lucky, you can see the snow-capped mountain in here.
Yeah,
but you probably have to wait for a day or something.
Yeah. This is obviously one of the national forest parks, and we have been building national forest parks since the 1980s. And the first one being Zhangjiajie. I'm sure people are familiar with that one if you have seen Avatar.
Yes, you're correct. Yeah, there were lots of scenes taken inspiration from Zhangjiajie, and and here I think it's a very different style of nature, and also very different from Lhasa, other parts of Tibet.
You visibly see more vegetation Not only in the sense of more trees and grass and flowers, but also vegetable.
Vegetable.
Stuff I can actually eat.
I mean, this is significant. We are in southeast Tibet, where traditionally farming and agriculture is comparatively more advanced than the other parts of Tibet. But again, if you read the history books, you know that traditionally the diet in Tibet consists not a lot of vegetables, mostly of zampa and meat, yak meat maybe. So, and this time around, as we travel, make our way across the mountains, and then from Lhasa to Nyingchi, I certainly notice a lot of vegetable patches, and that shows that our diet here has changed.
Yeah, and you might have noticed that there's the bell sound. Yes, in the background.
It's right
there.
Well,
we see two horses, each with this cute little bell on their neck, and this shows that they are not wild horses. They have owners.
There's something like a collar on their neck.
Yeah, and they're the local people who raise these horses, and they just let them roam the meadow as the horses, graze for food. And
maybe they'll make their way into the camera.
Come here. Hey, friend.
Don't be camera shy.
Yeah.
And they're leaving.
Okay.
All right. Well, probably they're on a date. They want some privacy,
Hey, leave our stuff alone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're approaching.
No.
Oh, no.
These are not food. Come on. Hey.
Hey, Shoo. Hi.
Maybe next time.
Hi, my friend.
Okay.
Huang Shan's getting their attention. Maybe next time.
This is more like 1, 2. This is just 2 meters away from us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and please don't be so interested in my shoes either. But, anyway, okay, I think they'll lose interest soon. So
This is unprecedented.
You've got these, visitors to our show from time to time like this.
Right. I mean, you and I, we've been assigned to cover very important events across the country many times ago.
Okay.
Like the anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China, and other important occasions, and there are always some, on-the-spot issues to handle. But this here is something we've never been trained for.
Yeah, I think it's a cute emergency.
Yes, this is so cute and they are sticking around.
Yeah.
The horses and
I kind of know what the horse is doing.
Oh, they are interested in my shoes.
Yeah.
And
oh wow.
Oh, they want to eat. Oh no.
Oh, no. Leave our stuff alone, please.
No.
And it's
bad
not good for you. Cardboard boxes aren't gonna.
No. You're ruining everything.
Please go. Please
go. Don't take the bag away. Don't take that.
Not Laiming's backpack, please.
Don't take my shoes away. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Should we intervene?
So. Oh no! It's actually
the horse has a very hot temper.
Should we leave the horses and let them go?
Keep at it.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Bye-bye.
Okay.
See ya.
Okay. Have a nice day.
Wow.
Oh.
Not good for your stomach, please.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Hey, that's plastic.
Well, that has. Oh no.
No.
Oh no.
No, you cannot eat it.
Should we?
Can somebody do something about that?
Should we move off?
Yes, and we can focus on our audience again.
All right. They're fine.
Yeah.
Fine now.
Yes. Okay. They're now on their merry way somewhere else, and well, that's what animals do, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, he's coming back again. Should we just move that away?
Okay, so
well, that was
a lot of intervention, and
that's nature. That's nature.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And this is the place where not only this is a national park, which, you know, hosts so many different types of trees and plants and animals. Yes, and this is the part that Huang Shan takes over.
Yeah, this is the home to bears, fox, and monkeys.
All right. Oh, is it the 金丝猴, or is it the other types of monkeys?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay. Many years ago, I think I translated an article about it, but I apologize for not being able to recall the English name of that monkey.
Well, one name could be stub-nosed monkeys.
Oh
yeah. And in Yalu Zangbu, Grand Canyon, actually, it is the home to a lot of these stub-nosed monkeys and many other very precious types of species that sometimes are on the verge of extinction. So having these natural reserves that is protected by spearheaded by the local governments and also given orders by the national level, and these are really important efforts to keep the animals safe, make sure that our future generations of kids would be able to, you know, see the cute animals and, you know, sort of preserve biodiversity as long as possible. And this is definitely something we see, hear, and feel in Tibet, because this is a natural place for so many beautiful species.
It is exactly here. In fact, it is exactly that encounter that we just had with the horses and our cardboard boxes that reminds me of the challenges and difficulties in really finding a balance between humanity and the well-being of the animals. Because living in big cities, the concrete jungles, is very easy for us to take it for granted about the ease, about the task of safeguarding animal life and animal welfare. But if you think about the encounter we just had, the horses were just chewing at the cardboard boxes, and we had no way of intervening with it, at least for a brief moment.
It's almost like unless you step in and shoo him away,
right,
or the horse away, then you can't stop it from doing it.
Also, the same applies to the elephants who are still migrating, who appears to be still in the migration in southern China's Yunnan province. And we should keep track of where they are. But so far, the reports have shown the kind of dangers they pose to the villages and towns that they found their way into. And just now, as Heyang and I were riding horses, I noticed the ease of the local people when they were dealing with the animals. And that's a talent. That's talent. Well, that is a talent that I don't think I have. And I think for people to have that kind of relationship with animals, it requires a lot of interactions, a lot of goodwill, and a lot of patience, especially when
horses are still around, by the way.
Especially when animals and human beings seems to be occupying the same space, and they might have some conflicts as they deal with the daily businesses. I mean, that's the thing that's coming to my mind right now after that encounter.
I think in order to protect animals, the first thing we need to do is we need to understand them. We need to have the basic knowledge of their habitats and their habits and also their nature, because in this way we can know what is the best way to protect them. Sometimes we think it's good for them to enjoy the freedom, and some people may argue, oh, we should give them freedom, but at the same time we should discipline them a little bit more. In this way they can enjoy their life and in the concrete jungle. But the thing is that what we can do is just trying to improve the environmental situation and restore the habitats for the animals, because this is their home, and what we can do is trying to reduce our harms into their habitats as much as possible. And we can start with sorting out our garbage and just use less single-use products. In this way, at least we won't see the tragedy that many marine mammals, they have been suffocated by the plastic products underneath the sea.
And I think I still need to bring back the cliche we have already talked about as we were on the train traveling from Xining to Lhasa, and that is when we are planning major infrastructure projects, have we accounted for the well-being of the animals that are already living here? Because I feel like some of the conflicts between human beings and animals arise from the necessity or the inevitability of having to share the same space. And now as human beings become more technologically advanced, they become more able to travel wherever they are, it seems to me that they are taking up more space and they're taking more space from the animals. So when I think about the highways that we're building, connecting remote villages to busy towns, we think about how nice it is for people to have access to business opportunities, to better living standards. But then on the other hand, there's a huge cost coming with these infrastructure projects. And so here in Tibet, I'm happy to see many of these projects, even in the planning stage, there's these environmental impact report, trying to figure out whether there's a way to minimize the impact on the well-being of the animals here.
And that's definitely on our minds, and I think it's an improvement to see that policymakers as well as the public have a great sense of interest in keeping this balance between human life and biodiversity and animal life, or whatever you call it. And you're listening to Roundtable. That brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you so much for your company, and I hope you enjoyed seeing our faces as well as the faces of horses coming in and out.
And hearing them chewing at our boxes.
Yes, and I think I heard cows mowing in the background too. You can always find us on Apple Podcast at Roundtable China, or follow our latest updates on our trip in Tibet, Railway Trippin, Tibetan Style, on Sina Weibo at 英语环球广播. Have yourselves a great day. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.